Hey, all right, goddammit. Welcome to Las Películas Sábados Gigantes at the Cinemarijuana Theatre.
Woo! Yeah.
Oh, man. Merry Christmas to you.
Have a hateful Christmas.
Coming to you on Boxing Day and part of Kwanzaa.
First day of
Kwanzaa. This is technically the third day of the 12 days of Christmas, and it is the Feast of Stephen.
Ah, yes, that's right.
Right.
And see King Wenceslas.
But there is no snow in San Diego deep and crisp and even.
Negative. But it did rain on us on Christmas Eve, which was a Christmas miracle for us here.
And actually, speaking of which, how does good King Wenceslas like his pizzas?
Deep and crisp and even, I understand.
That's right, yes. That's how I like them, too.
That's what I've come to be told. So, anyways, yes, we are, this is Las Películas Sábados Gigantes at the Cinemarijuana Theatre with a special edition podcast. We're here. We're actually giving you a double dose today. We'll be podcasting All the President's Men in a little bit. But as you may or may not know, this weekend, Quentin Tarantino released his 8th film, The Hateful Eight. The roadshow version in Super Panavision, 70 millimeter, was released on Christmas Day. And, of course, we were there to see it, or at least a handful of us. And so we are here to talk about that as the opinions are flying fast and furious about this film already on social media. Yeah, let's get right to it with introductions. I'm Ed.
I'm John.
I'm Condi.
I'm Zeb.
All right, and somebody want to give us a plot synopsis on The Hateful Eight?
Well, basically, it's a Western. And, it's got Sam Jackson and Kurt Russell are bounty hunters. And Kurt Russell's trying to bring in this woman.
Played by Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yes, artfully played. She did a great job.
Yeah, Domergue.
Yeah, Domergue.
Who?
He's trying to bring her to the town of Red Rock to be hung for a crime she's committed. But there's a blizzard that comes in on them on the way, and they're forced to hole up at this sort of roadhouse called, what was it, Minnie's
Haberdashery.
That's right. And while there, they run into some unsavory customers, and as we'll see during this podcast, things do not go as planned. And we should point out here at the top, if you haven't seen this movie, you should probably not listen to this podcast because there's going to be a shit ton of spoilers. Yeah. It's going to be spoilerific, so if you haven't seen it, stop it, go see the movie, then come back and listen so we don't ruin it for you.
Yes,
so please... Please see it first because there will be spoilers.
Yes. This is not so much a review but an analysis.
Exactly.
So this is for
something.
This is where you can go once you've seen the film. Too.
Right.
And agree with us, disagree with us, let us know.
That's it. That's
exactly.
it. Yes, you can get it. Yeah, please comment on the SoundCloud or on the YouTube.
Send all your hate to Condi. I'm sure it'll come this way.
Yes.
He's our hate magnet.
All right. Well, we've got to have one. We need balance.
I know. I'm taking Kenzie's spot. Apparently,
we need balance.
This wouldn't be a proper analysis without some criticism towards it.
I agree, and I'd like to say up front that as much of Quentin Tarantino's seed as I am apt to imbibe with joy, I will try. I will try throughout this podcast to be as objective as I can, and be able to make the distinction between something I liked and something that was actually good.
Trying to get all your lies out before the new year.
My Tarantino apologism. So.
Well, before we get started, too, maybe we should explain to the audience exactly what the roadshow version is and what the difference is.
How is it different?
Okay, you go ahead and do that. I'm going to get some spoiler blockers for Kenzie.
All right, there you go. Okay, so basically, back in the old days, going to the movies was a pretty big deal. I mean, you would dress up. It was like going to the theater, like, a play. It was, you put on your Sunday best, you leave the kids with a sitter, and you'd go out and be an evening out. And movies didn't used to have, they weren't digital, they couldn't just beam them by satellite. There was only a certain amount of print. So for a lot of big movies, it would be booked at the big deal movie houses for a certain amount of time, and they would literally go on the road across the country. And the popularity in the word would build, and you'd wait for it to come to your town and see it. And so Tarantino, of course, being the cinephile that he is, wanted to recreate this with his film. So specifically, it's a longer version of the movie. It's 187 minutes, while the theatrical release, which is coming out in, I believe, a week or two?
The 31st or the 1st.
Okay, yeah, that's when that's going. The 31st or the 1st is going to be 167 minutes. So it's a 20-minute longer version. It opens with a musical overture. There's an intermission halfway through. And at the end, you get a program, which is pretty sweet. And we're going to talk about that, too, a souvenir program for your money, which is not too bad. So, yeah, so that is what the roadshow version is. And And that is what we saw, because obviously we want to get just as much. We wanted to wring as much Tarantino goodness out of it as we could.
I just love seeing it for the roadshow version of it, because if any of you are cinema lovers, obviously if you're listening to this podcast, you probably own a couple of DVDs of some old David Lean masterpieces. It's a Mad
oh
World.
God, yes, my favorite.
Where you just pop it in, and it's like overture, intermission.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know why, especially you youngins, why you pop in Monty Python's and the Holy Grail, why the intermission was just a hilarious thing, or even Bob and Doug McKenzie's Strange Brew, where they have an intermission just lasting for a couple of seconds.
Yeah. Just playing off that old, how that standard where they used to have that.
Well, yeah, or like watching Godfather or Ben-Hur like on VHS, essentially.
Right, because
It's
the
like
the
switch
length.
to tape.
Oh,
Yeah, we have to switch to the tape because they're just so long, and that's they recreate that intermission vibe.
And this film, I loved how they brought it all back.
Oh God, it was great because I think. Like Quentin Tarantino loves movies, and not like hoity-toity up your ass French cinema movies. I mean, he might love those too, but he loves
he
honest
does.
to God,
He does.
like grindhouse, cheap movie theater, sticky floored popcorn movies.
Well,
And he loves the whole vibe of all cinema. Like historically going back, and like this recreates like that old school feeling.
it's
when
important.
movies were big deal.
It's important to remember that. Yeah, every one of his films is like a love letter to cinema on some level.
Yeah.
On like several love letters at once.
All that's missing was the red velvet curtain coming up.
Yes,
right.
I
would've
missed
been
that.
awesome.
I missed that. Goddamn.
I do. It was funny because there's this one of the shots right up front. Well, the first okay, no. Just talk about the lens. I'm not trying to get off that because I'm like so excited.
Okay, well, yeah. So,
But the lens in particular, there's this one shot like right up front where we're looking at a profile of Samuel Jackson playing Marquise. What's his last name?
Major Marquise.
It says Weston Lee. What is it? It says in the book in the front page there.
Yeah,
we got all the
it's,
cast.
Major Marquise Warren.
Warren, that's it. Wow, that's it. So he's talking to the stagecoach. I believe he's talking to OB on the stagecoach. He hasn't talked to Kurt Russell yet. And we get this profile shot. And Tarantino puts, it's like a kind of a medium shot. We've got Samuel Jackson in frame from, I think, basically like the waist up, more or less. And Tarantino's got him at the far left of the screen. And then just bang, snow and trees, like 2/3 of the screen.
Yeah.
He didn't even put, the stagecoach like in the other end of the
right.
He's like, watch this, like, and just showing you like, watch this lens, like, bang, and gives you this shot of like Samuel Jackson and just wintry expanse, and I'm just like,
because he shot this in 70 millimeters, so it's
using
just
original
gorgeous.
lenses from the 60s.
Yeah, the actual lenses that Ben-Hur were shot with.
Right, like
he
not the
used.
same type of lenses as he said. The actual lenses that shot Ben-Hur he used, and I mean, there's so many shots that are just so picturesque.
When this opens at the Cinerama Dome, I'm going to go see it.
It's not going to, I don't think.
Yeah,
After
'cause
Star Wars does its thing.
Disney-
hopefully, well, Disney's got every IMAX screen locked up for the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, if it does move into the Cinerama Dome, though, I'm definitely.
We got to
for
take
a
Garrett,
trip.
because Garrett saw Lawrence of Arabia at the Cinerama Dome.
That's right.
And during
Nice.
intermission, his friend thought that was the end of the movie.
Wow.
He's got this. Ask Garrett next time about his Lawrence of Arabia. But he's like, "Oh, that's the end of the movie," and Garrett's like, "Oh, no, my friend.
There's
Yeah.
even more.
There's more left."
That
Even
totally
better.
happened. We saw Grindhouse when there were people in the audience. We saw it several times, but like so many, like half the audience would leave after Death Proof.
Yeah, they
It was
just
like,
get up
or
and
not
go.
Death Proof, after Planet Terror.
Planet
And it's like,
Terror,
wait,
yeah.
no. No,
There's another movie.
Like you're getting your.
So that's what basically the 70 millimeter Roadshow edition is different than the one you'll probably see at an Edwards or a Regal or one of your other standard
Yeah,
multiplexes.
it's like 6 minutes longer than.
No, it's 20 minutes longer.
20 minutes.
Get
yeah.
out.
20 minutes longer.
I
Yeah.
thought he said 6 in an
No, it was
interview.
Nope.
187.
Does that count the overture and the intermission?
I don't
though?
know.
No.
It could. I don't think
I don't
so.
think it
Either
does.
or, I definitely have to see it regular in non 70 millimeter to see what's cut out of it.
Oh yeah,
Because I have no
absolutely.
idea, and if anybody knows, don't fucking tell me.
Well, and that's why I want to make sure to see it a couple of times in 70 before I go see it when it opens in
Yeah,
a regular release.
exactly.
So I'm more familiar with the film, so I can. It's more evident to me like what, because there's also supposed to be some different shots, like not just from what I understand, it's not just that the Roadshow version is longer, but because of the wider format,
Yeah, the 70 millimeter.
that the actual cutting of the film, and he's got alternate takes of or angles on shots or whatever to go in place of some for the smaller big screens.
Yeah, no, I'd believe it.
And I'm interested in that too.
Yeah.
And which is really crazy too in this whole thing, wanting to see it multiple times. Whereas, like, most people know how I feel about Tarantino himself. Not to say his movies, but
Tarantino the man.
But Tarantino the man, where I want to pump lots of money and see this at least 2 more times, like one more in 70 and another time in regular or whatever.
Yeah,
you wanna
regular
call it.
release.
But I
35 or
don't
whatever.
want to go see Star Wars again.
Really?
Which
Yeah.
is funny because I
You know
totally want to see Star Wars. Like I want to see Star Wars a bunch. Like I want to be obsessively.
But
I
I'm
am-
in
I
agreement
am-
with Condi here.
I am
I'm not going to go
willing-
see Star Wars again.
I've seen it twice, and I'm hoping to see at least another one or two times.
And I am willing to see Star Wars a second time because I've been told if I see it again, I'll probably hate it less. And like
I think you might be able to. I just think it's so much to
and
take
I might be
in.
able to
Yeah.
reconcile some things because, man, like I said during the Star Wars podcast, I really, really wanted to like that movie. I went
Luke
in there
Skywalker,
wanting to
3
love
movies
that
to handle
movie.
the Force. Daisy Riddle or whatever her name is, 1 movie to handle
I
the
know.
Force.
Yeah.
You know, actually, we could almost do another whole podcast.
Oh, we
on
could.
that
But
fall.
that's
yeah,
for
no.
another time.
Right.
Let's get back to the
Episode
Hateful
7.
Yeah, it's a
Eight.
lot hitting you in the
should
face.
do like a weekly Star Wars podcast. Like, as we talk about stuff.
But getting back
Don't
to the
get me
Hateful
excited.
Eight.
Yes. So that's the difference between the roadshow version and if you like. Before we move on to our reviews, which obviously are going to be pretty positive, but we should move on to that so we can discuss some of the sort of the I guess elephants in the room about the film. You want to support the 70 millimeter if you can and you care about film because Tarantino is doing a lot to kind of try. I think he's kind of the main director, sort of spearheading this movement for, keeping film alive,
Yeah.
actual celluloid,
Yeah.
not going digital and old school presentations and stuff like that.
Bless you.
Yeah, filming in 35 millimeter, actually projecting in theaters instead of just showing digital.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's important that this does well, so that sends a message that people want to see films in this format, in this presentation.
Well, based off of where we went, I think it'll do pretty damn well, and this would definitely get my highest recommendation to see it in 70 millimeter.
Yeah, for sure. Because I know for me personally, seeing stuff, I don't. It's not like I hate seeing stuff presented digitally, but I'm not a big like we go to the Ken, like our favorite theater in town, and like God bless them, they'll do like a week of classics or cool stuff at midnight, and they have to show digital presentations of them. And I don't know. It's not like it takes me out of the movie. I'm like,
It's
I
like
hate
the
it, but I
difference
I don't know.
It feels somehow cheaper. Okay, if there's an actual film reel that's got a real print of the film, they're running that thing through a projector.
Yeah.
That feels like real. That feels like it's worth your ticket money. Wouldn't that basically just projecting
A DVD.
a DVD or a Blu-ray up on the screen?
Or an AVI, an MKV that's on
Right.
that
Well,
hard
yeah.
drive.
Right. It's like, I could do that at home.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a bigger screen at this
Yeah.
point.
Well, I mean, it's like the
and a
difference
less comfortable
between
seat.
a vinyl and an MP3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both are very quality, but there's something about that, the vinyl that just
exactly.
There's something about it.
That's a perfect analogy.
or like a book and an e-reader. I love the smell of a book or a comic book.
Yeah. No,
And,
like
you
no,
real
nothing
stuff.
the,
like
the
that.
paper and everything. I don't mind e-readers. I don't.
Yeah, I'll e-read
particularly
it if I
hate
have
them.
to, but
Yeah. But
or even
you know,
like practical effects just versus CGI. Like speaking of Star Wars again, like the idea of doing real stuff as far as effects instead of
Tarantino
just
does.
and
computers.
on your point with
Squibs,
that,
yeah, and blood
Greg
packets.
Nicotero actually.
yeah, watching. I was watching Mad Max today again.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
the driving.
Fury
in that,
Road.
just, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, when it's
That's
real
all.
Yeah.
driving, it means something. Like I know when I saw what was the last James Bond movie?
Who
Spectre?
knows?
Spectre. Yeah.
Spectre?
No, the one before that one.
Skyfall.
Skyfall. Yeah. And there's this motorcycle chase on top of a roof, and it's like, oh, that would be really cool if it wasn't all computers. If that
that's
actually
how I felt
really
when I
got a
watched
guy on
Tokyo
the
Drift.
motorcycle. Yeah.
Oh, that
like-
was the best thing about was it Rogue Nation? There was a great motorcycle chase that was practical.
It was real, yeah.
Yeah,
and
it was
that
amazing.
counts for something. You can actually feel like
Yeah.
the excitement from it because people really did.
So-
this. Like, oh, it's cool.
So anyways, yes. If this interests you, if this is a subject that you're passionate about,
Go see it.
go support the 70 millimeter version.
Right.
Don't
Do yourself-
download
There's
do
it.
even
yourself a
talk
favor.
of releasing the Batman versus Superman in 70 millimeter.
Hell yeah.
Which is great news to me because I love Snyder, at least visually. I know I've had some, he's had some narrative and directorial choices that I've questioned in the past. I'm not a fan of all of his films, but certainly, certainly his
Zack Snyder movie, believe it or
I
not.
saw it on a plane.
certainly his
repeat.
his visuals are very beautiful.
Yes.
You know, he knows the dude. He's like he made slow motion. Like his thing, like he recoined
That's his
slow
calling
motion
card,
the way sort of Samuel Jackson
And
made.
just to add a little
Motherfucker
bit
his
more
calling card.
on to
Or J.J. Abrams does
whether
Lens Flare.
you're supporting this this format that's going to be revived, the soundtrack to the Hateful Eight will be released in vinyl.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
In
beautiful
fact, when they
presentation.
recorded the score, Ennio Morricone recorded it digitally, you know, for Hollywood, but he also mastered a master vinyl during the recording.
Ooh, well, all right.
So the
Nice.
pressing for the vinyl will be from the master vinyl of the recording.
That's the way to do it.
Right.
See, there's still merit to this classic
Okay,
stuff.
all right.
Enough
look,
of this.
Look. Yeah, let's cut the shit. Let's get to it.
Should we go for 3 minutes, 3 words? Is it that time?
Yeah. But give us. I'm going to give us a little longer if you need
Okay.
it. So just in case, because
So 5 minutes, 3 words.
There's only, Dr. Matlis did see the film with us as well, but
He
is
is-
under
he
the
is greatly
weather.
Scare
missed
the
here
hell out of
today.
me.
He is currently. It's funny because I could totally hear him. I knew he was there. He has.
He was lurking in the row behind
And
us.
he's just
at
like,
the
okay,
theater.
Zeb. I'm going, ah!
Like, who are you?
He caught some kind of space.
I didn't even see
sickness.
Condi come in.
Get out of my head.
And he's not here with us. So, all right. John, start with you.
Sure.
All right, go.
All right, well, suffice it to say, I love this movie, of course. As a huge Tarantino fan, that's no shock. You know, I was a little disappointed that he was doing a Western again. You know, not that I didn't love Django, because of course I did. But I think I was hoping for, you know, I mean, we're always saying, because he's talked about how he's going to do 10 movies and then quit. And if that's the case.
Which he's doubled down on recently.
Right, so he's only got 2 left. And it's like, I mean, I know a lot of us in the Cinemarijuana Theatre be pulling for sci-fi. But there's a lot of different genres it'd be cool to see him do before the end. But man, like obviously, who wouldn't love he's obviously having fun in the Old West. And as a lot of people pointed out, Django is actually a Southern, not a Western, due to its location.
That's something that he would mention during it.
Yeah, and this definitely feels much more like an actual
Western.
I mean, you can see the influence all over the place. I know Condi's going to talk about a very specific piece of this, which I also noticed too. I'm not going to bring it up because Condi, I'm sure, is going to espouse on it much more. But I picked up on that. But obviously, I think Tarantino is somebody who wears his love of cinema on his sleeve, and I don't think he would deny or hide the fact that he deliberately was putting those inspirations into the movie. You can see things from Stagecoach. The John Ford classic.
Right off the bat. Well, there's callbacks to a lot of westerns.
Yeah, there's a lot of westerns. Interestingly enough with this, and I don't know if we might talk about this during Balls Deep, or Bowls Deep, but there's a lot of callbacks to previous Tarantino movies. This is like his sort of most self-referential movie, and like there were little nods, I think, to his earlier works. So yeah, I don't, you know, it's I mean, at the 3 hours and 16 minutes or whatever, it doesn't drag at all for me. I mean, it's funny too because the first half is really all basically talking, where the action doesn't really pick up to the second half. But I mean, I was just riveted the whole time. You know, I'm just on the edge of my seat. And it's just because obviously you've got a great cast. You've got Sam Jackson. You got Kurt Russell, we mentioned already. You've got Tim Roth. You've got
Walton Goggins.
Yeah, Walton Goggins. You got
Bruce Dern.
Bruce Dern. That's what I was trying to think of. And a couple of the people that aren't.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah, Channing Tatum and
Michael Madsen, of
Damien
course.
Bashir.
just a lot of really good people, and and everybody does a great job, and it builds slowly. It's a slow boil, but obviously you know it's Tarantino, and I knew when we were getting up close to the intermission, I could feel the intermission was coming. I'm like, okay, it's almost going to be like kind of like the opposite of Kill Bill, whereas Kill Bill, the first one was really the violent action one, and the second one was more cerebral. With this movie, the first half is we've been building to it, and the second half is when the shit's going to hit the fan.
Yeah.
And I knew that it's like as unbloody
Which
as
is
the first
more
half
like
was.
one of those hoity-toity French films.
Well, yeah,
For
which
me, like Clouseau's Wages of Fear,
Yeah.
for example, where the first 45 minutes, like, unless the first time you see it, you kind of are like, but, dude, it
there's
pays.
something coming, right? And
It
I'm
pays.
sure,
It's
and
the-
obviously,
it's the pony that pays.
and I should have clarified what I said earlier. I'm sure Tarantino is also a fan of hoity-toity French films. I just mean that he has a love for all cinema
Of course.
and like the entire history of the genre. I loved the ending. I don't know. I'd be curious to find out everybody else thought about the ending. I mean, obviously people want resolution, but I think you kind of can connect the dots as far as what was going to happen in the end.
You know where Tarantino's movies
Right.
tend to
Well, that's
go?
what I'm saying, and I like too that there was a bittersweetness to the ending because like obviously it's not going to end well for those guys, but in a way the good guys did win, at least in their own little way. So it was just it was a great movie. Everybody did a really great job. I think Goggins specifically, was a breakout star.
Absolutely.
I think Sam Jackson is funny because Sam Jackson in this has this connection to Tarantino like Depp and fucking Burton. But like if you think about
Mifune and Kurosawa.
right. If you think
He's
about
his
it,
muse.
if you actually look at his roles, a lot of the time it's smaller parts. He's not the star of a lot of the movies. I mean, like in Kill Bill, he's the organ man. He's barely in. He's just it's one scene. He's only got a couple of lines. It's like it's only really in Pulp Fiction. And Jackie Brown, but Jackie Brown's got such an ensemble cast. Nobody eats up too much screen time. But he is in it a lot.
Steven is pretty.
He's very integral. But I'm just saying,
in Django.
it's great to see Sam Jackson get like a really full role.
Well, and to really show some range.
Yeah, and Kurt Russell was, I think, doing full John Wayne, which was awesome, and totally fit the part and the character. And
John the Hangman Ruth.
Yeah, John the Hangman. And what was the name? The woman who was
Daisy.
Yeah, Daisy.
Oh, Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yeah, she's great too. I mean,
Yeah.
she's amazing. It's just I can't say enough good things about this movie.
All right.
so.
Well, you've taken extra time, so
All right,
give us your 3 words and we'll move on.
Just my 3 words are so fucking awesome.
Okay, Condi, let her rip.
Okay, so to expound on what John was saying for half a second, I don't think Tarantino's. I don't have high hopes for Tarantino doing a sci-fi movie because in space nobody can hear you say nigger.
I guess. Okay. Touche.
So that's why I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, hey.
I mean,
It's
like
an alien
literally,
race, maybe.
I
Potentially.
Ed, you should go through like his movies and
Space Race War.
see how many times he's
See how many N bombs
Yeah.
in his catalog.
Yeah,
that would be interesting.
I bet you it's like at least 500.
I would.
Or-
Ooh, geez. Well, I don't know.
I mean,
That is
between
real
Django
interesting.
and this one, I mean,
At
that's
the
a few
very-
hundred
at-
already.
At the very least, that would be a wonderful opportunity to do a kick-ass retrospective of watching all his films again. You know, what
You
I
need
mean?
one of those little clicker counters so you
Yeah.
can just be
Oh, yeah.
hitting it every time somebody drops the
Maybe we'll look
N-bomb.
into
Now, before I get into some of the ththings I saw in this movie, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I did not enjoy.
It's important to add that. Right
Yeah,
at the
no,
beginning.
I didn't enjoy Samuel L. Jackson as the rest of my comrades did. I'm tired of him. Been tired of him. Tired of Michael Madsen. All Michael Madsen has is his 5-pack a day Princess Leia voice going for him.
Okay, sure.
He's got no acting ability whatsoever. Hasn't for like years and years. But Tarantino loves him, so he'll get steady work, and God bless him. Get that paycheck, man.
Get that money.
Jennifer Jason Leigh, so fucking awesome, super underrated. She's had a very storied and very full career, from like Road to Perdition to like Single White Female to roles like this, and she's been in tons of other movies. I'm just glad to see in her, and sad to see in her, sad and glad in her later years she's been breaking out more. Because in like the early 90s, 92 when Single White Female came out, it always seemed like it was a role between her and Bridget Fonda at the time.
Well, I think I was just talking about this with Star Wars. It's so many actually weird parallels between this and Star Wars. But I was talking with Kenzie about Star Wars because, and by no means am I trying to diminish the performance of
Jennifer Jason Leigh?
No. In Star Wars, Rey.
Daisy Ridley?
Daisy Ridley. Yes. I think she was wonderful.
No, she was safe.
Well, okay. I'm not talking about her performance, but what I'm saying is, like, for me, like, obviously, Hollywood likes a certain look. Like, to me, physically, like, she's interchangeable with Emma Stone or Keira Knightley or this Carla Delevingne chick. They all look like the same girl. And I think Jennifer Jason Leigh might have suffered from some of that because she
she
looked
had a similar look
to Bridget
Fonda.
Fonda.
Yeah,
So I think that might be her career. But also, I think she made some bolder choices.
She did.
Was in
Dolores Claiborne.
You know,
I mean, come on,
yeah,
she was awesome. in
Miami
that.
Blues. I think she was in Spun with Jason Patrick, wasn't she?
I don't remember.
She's done a lot of really strong work.
She has,
and really, yeah.
And that's why it's good to see her showcased on a film that like more people will see than not, kind of thing, in comparison to her other movies.
Right.
And she's got great, as you would say, chops.
Indeed.
She's
But
got great zazz.
She does.
She
zazz it up.
She's got the goods.
But with John, I will wholeheartedly agree. Walton Goggins stole the entire fucking movie.
Yeah,
that
he
guy,
was
that guy is
amazing.
awesome. From The Shield to Justified to everything he's been in, loved him absolutely. But this is just hands down probably will be his best work.
He certainly is given. He is given ample scenery to chew, and he definitely rises to the occasion.
The rest of the cast was great. Tim Roth, always good. Kurt Russell, it's Kurt Russell's fucking Snake Plissken, man. He's awesome. Bruce Dern, awesome.
Always a badass.
Yeah, I even really.
Yeah, he was the one I was most looking forward
Yeah.
to because being a fan of like his older work and there was more recent work too. That guy's rad, and nobody uses him that much.
Right, and it's great because Tarantino just one of those the kind of director who gets these older guys.
Yeah,
and, gives them a chance to shine, and like anytime you hear him, that he's cast somebody like that, it's gonna be something worth seeing.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and of course, oh god,
Damien Bichir?
no,
Mexican Bob.
Channing Tatum, even he was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really good.
That was a big
I-
surprise.
Yes.
Yeah, I was all like, man,
Surprisingly
this is
good.
pretty good. So now, is that 3 minutes already?
Yeah, but no, actually it was more, but we chewed up some of it. So go ahead and take
Yeah,
some
okay.
more.
So I may or may not be the only one that sees the parallels between this movie and John Carpenter's The Thing.
I don't think you are.
I see. The
I was
parallel.
with you. There was one point because Tarantino uses actual music from the thing in this, and there was one specific shot where it's Kurt Russell and snow and the music from the thing. And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And I didn't draw the parallel that you drew to the plot actually being like the thing, even though I see it now. But at the time, I just picked up on those little pieces of it with the location, the star, and the music. That
Yeah,
it's like, wait,
and
that's very Thing-ish.
I mean, it's very easy. I mean, you got the Blizzard. You got, I mean, even though he doesn't, play the part as it, but you got Walton Goggins kind of representing the dog.
Trail of blood in the snow.
Yes.
In the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that.
Yeah.
You got them lying the rope from
Yeah,
To
the
the
outhouse,
outhouse
to the shitter.
just how they had to Wilford Brimley's cabin when
It's the right thing to do, man.
the fat guy could check. I can't remember the black guy's name. Not
Keith David?
not Keith David, but the other one. The one was on that show with Jack A.
227.
I don't know. But he he's all like, I had to cut him loose. And when he cut Kurt Russell loose on the line. It's
Look it up,
pretty
John, look
funny, and then because
Wait, which character are you talking
The
about?
Thing.
because
Oh, thing.
OB would never he's all like, I'm not going back out in that shit. And then you have like the bad guys in the movie, the desperados, if you will. They're like the virus. They're like the alien virus killing off all the regular people.
Yeah.
And they even say, I think it's Kurt Russell. It's either Kurt Russell or Samuel L. Jackson says, one of these people isn't what they seem, and they say they use the exact line in the thing.
I think it actually was Kurt Russell, which makes it even more.
Makes it even funnier, yeah.
Right, because you have
since
the
Kurt
same
Russell was
person
in
saying
John
it.
Carpenter's The
Well,
Thing.
I think
With
that kind of
similar
I
facial
think that definitely
almost.
lends. I think that definitely
And-
supports the argument that like it very much was. It very much.
Keith
intentional.
David.
No, there was another one. There's Keith David was Childs, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but he was the cook.
TK
Oh,
Carter.
TK
TK
Carter.
Carter,
Yeah,
that's
from
right,
Punky
yeah.
Brewster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then you
He
have
was her teacher.
and then you have the ending to the movie.
Mike.
And there's more in between, but since we're short on time, I'll just jump to there's the ending of the movie where how in the thing they kill the last alien, and then they finally kill the last desperado, Jennifer Jason Leigh. They hang her, and then it's the black guy and the white guy alone together,
And they're laughing.
and they're
Right.
laughing,
Yeah.
and
they're
they're
both gonna
and
die.
They're
they're
gonna die.
both,
Yeah,
they're
they're
both gonna
fucked.
die.
The snow.
They're both injured, and there's and like how in the thing, Kurt Russell tells Keith David, like, if you got anything, to do, I couldn't stop you, kind of thing. And that's the way they both were at the end, because they're both bleeding to death.
Yeah.
And
they're
so
gonna die out there.
I totally see as a huge parallel, or like almost ripoff of The Thing. And I hope John Carpenter gets his money.
All right. You want to give us 3 words?
Carpenter gets paid.
Okay, Zeb, take it away.
It was a funny thing you mentioned the parallel between The Thing and this film, because Ennio Morricone reworked some of the unused score from The Thing for this film.
Because he wrote the music for The Thing,
Yes,
right?
he did.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because I was like, wait, I thought Carpenter did the music for all of his. Because at first I'm like, Ennio Morricone even did the music for The Thing, but then I thought Carpenter did it. Okay.
So Tarantino approached Morricone to do the soundtrack for this, which was phenomenal.
Very.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Morricone's like,
incredible.
well, I'm going to need more time other than a month. And Quentin Tarantino was like, well, that's fine. What do you guys? Like, well, I got this unused score from The Thing that I could use. I could just rework it for your film. So that was the basis of the score for this one, because Morricone eventually ended up just redoing like an entirely whole new score from this. But the genesis of the score for this film was based off the inspiration of the unused score from The Thing. He even used synthesizers and everything. Samuel L. Jackson, everybody was really great. The one I want to really focus on is Bruce Stern's character.
Yeah.
Because when we're first introduced to him, we're like, this like son of a bitch.
This racist
And then
bastard.
there's a part after the intermission
Yeah.
where it's like, let's see what happened before this. So to actually see the setup of the whole, taking over of Minnie's haberdashery, where it totally changes his character
Absolutely.
to one like you're like, oh, that's fucked up. He's just
Yeah.
an old man trying to
Yeah.
get by the night.
Yeah.
Samuel Jackson just comes in with a tale about how he made his son suck his big fat cock.
And I love too how they'll never let us know for sure if that story was bullshit or not.
I think we could talk about that. I'll
But
put that on.
this whole film was just like a fucked up version of Clue. If you think about it.
Yeah, there was
It's
a
like
lot of
one-
clue
That's
to
what
it.
I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, okay, who's the motherfucker who's in cahoots? Is it one? Is it two? Is it all?
Yeah. They're all trapped in this place, like
and
how they're trapped in the mansion in Clue, and one of them's a killer, but which one is it?
And it's
yeah,
like, is it Sam Jackson and Walton Goggins? And that's what I loved about the fucking thing is who's telling the truth? Is this true? Is this not true?
That it turned into like a dinner theater mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except
Directed by Quentin Tarantino.
That's exactly what it turned
Tarantino,
into.
Like, the best kind.
and I truly enjoyed the film, and I do see the parallels with The Thing. And I guess that's what I really like. It's not really like a ripoff of The Thing, but more inspired.
Yeah, or
by
like an homage.
The Thing, but it's like The Thing, but set in a different
Says
era.
the apologist.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's not a an Antarctic.
It's like The Thing
ice
18,
station.
1880 or whatever.
Yeah, or but it was great. I love the setup. The whole experience was fantastic. One, just to hear Ed being the only person in the movie theater laughing and going, "Yeah, oh, dude," in a theater filled with 1%ers.
Yeah, literally.
And it was like just us like laughing, and then like during the second half when everybody left because oh my god they said the N-word, or oh my god misogyny because they're beating up the women.
Why are they all duds, dude?
Yeah, and then after like some people left, like the true like film goers that went out to see this because we knew what we were expecting, we were like, yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
We were like the
wanted to
ones
see
like
it in La
eliciting
Jolla.
an emotion.
Yeah.
And all these other people like, oh, Tanner or Hunter. You notice have the like these white people name like their kids after like 20th century or 18th century
jobs.
I'm waiting for Gatherer.
I
I think I heard Tanner
Gatherer.
and Hunter.
I've heard Digger, honestly.
Digger.
Yeah.
Because we, during the intermission, I was taking a whiz, and I was just hearing all these guys going like, "Oh my god, like they use the N-word so much." I'm like,
Oh,
What do you
That,
seriously?
think?
dude, no, that's a
What-
whole podcast.
And
yeah, that's the whole.
And I did see
Getting
yeah,
back to it,
people
this
did walk
movie
out because
is
of it, I
Walton
guess.
Goggins. This is Goggins' movie. Fantastic. He stole the show from everybody. My favorite character, God bless him, OB.
Yeah, he was great.
Played by Michael Parks Jr.
Son, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a fantastic film. The thing I see with this is similar to Misery. Is I picture this being on Broadway within 10 years.
Yeah.
Because you could definitely make a stage
oh,
play out
God,
of
Oh,
it.
for
yeah.
sure. And I noticed that halfway through when they were with the scene where Goggins and Jackson are talking and the camera's on both of them when they're in the stagecoach. And I was thinking that so far this really reads like a stage play, which I always thought Reservoir Dogs, which is another Tarantino's first movie, really always felt like a stage play to me.
And just the cinematography of this, Richardson's cinematography was fantastic. Add that in with Morricone's score, just the talent that Tarantino was able to get for this film. It's a great film, and if you love John Carpenter's The Thing, or if you love Clue or whodunits or mysteries, you're gonna love the hell out of this film.
Yeah, or stage plays.
Yeah,
stage plays.
or Stagecoach.
Yeah, or yes. Okay. Well, do you want to give us 3 words?
Holy fucking shit!
Excellent. And you hit exactly time.
I'm a pro.
Okay, that brings it to me, and I'm going to try to get all the gushing out of the way because actually we have a lot of.
Is this going to be like a Gallagher performance where we have to cover
you're
ourselves?
in the splash zone,
We
so
should be
get
lucky
ready.
he's wearing pants.
I
got a slop bucket over here
I
with a mop
actually
ready to go.
made sure to have
good,
myself
thank God.
tested today, so I would know if I was putting you guys at risk. So here goes. All right. So, needless to say, I enjoyed the shit out of this film. To the critics that complain this film is boring, I say fuck you. Tarantino, obviously, having to cut Kill Bill in half was shit, and it should never have had to happen. And just because you fucking idiots can't handle a 4-hour movie, like, just drop the fuck dead. Like, so he had to chop his movie in half. That's bullshit. Because
but yet we can handle Lord of the Rings.
It ruined the
know,
flow.
right?
It ruined the flow of the film, and it was intended to be seen as one film, and the whole film as one piece is the way it's supposed to be seen. So I like long, slow burn movies, and that's like okay, right? And that Tarantino's like, you know what? We're breaking out these Ben-Hur lenses. Like, fuck that, dude. Let's take our time. Let's have fun with this, dude. Let's make an old fucking just Brad character. Just let him take a long time. Let it steep, man. Let it steep.
Even the opening shot on that,
Which
that
totally
crucifix.
reminded me of The Godfather because
Yeah.
it's like the same thing where like you start in on this close up of something and then you get this like pervertedly slow fucking like
Pullback.
dolly out or a
Clockwork
jib
Orange.
out or kind of or like motion out just like in the beginning, or in Clockwork Orange too, the way you get like, it was like, and then right, and then okay, so the Morricone score is almost the greatest thing about the film to me. The whole first half of the film, to me, it feels it's totally unsettling, and that's largely due to Morricone's score, keeping like not letting you feel comfortable with any of these people. So it's like what you're seeing on screen, you don't know who's the bad guy, like you feel it, like. With Morricone's score, you feel that this isn't okay and shit's not right the whole time, and it's amazing.
The only one I trusted was Kurt Russell.
He was fucking so rad. Yeah,
that's the only one you could really know.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who's got the deal to lose, so you know he's on the level. But
The only one I trusted was OB.
And OB.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
of the 8.
Yeah,
salt of the earth, that one.
no, but OB could have been hired. I do want to say Michael Parks Jr. was rad as OB. Not only did I think he was the coolest looking one, like he looked like
with
the
those
most,
old school sunglasses.
yeah, and like just his whole deal, and like just covered in snow on top of the stagecoach. But I thought like, even though he's not like one of the major characters, he certainly had a chance to deliver a really cool performance.
He was like this movie's Bob the Goon for me from the '89 Batman.
Yeah, right.
He just fulfilled that role of the.
Certainly, I think
Loyal
Walton
helper.
Goggins for me steals the film as well. I think he just from his introduction to the time the credits roll, he's just so wonderful. Jennifer Jason Leigh as well. Although interestingly enough, I think the reason that I can't say that her performance for me is the standout because I don't believe, as long as the film was, I don't believe her character was given enough time to develop. Her story was we got the story and the knowledge, but I don't know that we were supposed to feel any sympathy for her. If we were, I felt like we needed a little more. Maybe some kind of flashback with her or something.
I don't think we were supposed to feel
okay.
Well, we could go into that later on.
Yeah.
I'll let you finish.
So what I think is, though, if we're not supposed to have sympathy for her on any level, that kind of like makes her performance is a little more, I don't want to say one note because that sounds bad, but do you see what I'm saying? Like, she doesn't have a chance to flesh the character out quite as fully. We don't see her multidimensionally exactly. So for me, like, it doesn't stand out quite as much as Goggins, so I think we kind of do. Because we see him scared and we see him cocky and like we see him do all this kind of stuff.
Well, they leave her in anonymity on purpose, so they have to, because at the end when you find out that she's a part of
the payoff,
part of the gang, it's all part of the payoff. That's why, like when they're talking about her and everything else, it's Kurt Russell, the hangman is just all like she's just a murdering bitch. She's whatever. They make it as vague as possible.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she loves getting hit in the face.
Yeah, no shit.
Spaloosh.
I will say also too, Ari Channing Tatum. I said this as soon as the movie was over, dude. Like I'm in your corner now, like 100%. Between this and Foxcatcher, you win, guy. I don't, you know what I mean? You're awesome.
Until he makes
Totally.
his next rom-com.
Yeah, and especially after seeing you, and this is the end as well, because like that was totally like a self-deprecating kind of role, and it was totally funny.
The Jump Street movies.
So, well, I only saw the first one, and I liked it.
It was funny, yeah. I thought,
but I also thought it was
funny.
kind of forgettable. I didn't think he had a chance to really demonstrate a lot of
No,
ability.
I mean,
I thought he had a chance to shine in this and Foxcatcher way more than he did in 21 Jump Street. I just
Or
think
playing Lego Superman in the Lego movie.
I think they're just
Another great role.
Okay, I just got a couple other things to say really quick. Condi, to you, a rip-off of The Thing, fuck you. It was a rip-off of Reservoir Dogs, okay?
Oh,
totally,
God.
he just remade Reservoir Dogs.
Hey, apologizing.
So, no, I do not think this was a rip-off of The Thing at all, much like I said. If anything, it was an homage. And to say it was a rip-off would be like if Tarantino was to be like, what are you talking about? No, this has nothing to do with The Thing. Like, bullshit. Like, there's a reason he had the fucking music in there, and he had Kurt Russell say that line. Like, he knows that any fucking true cinephile
how cool would
is
it
going
have
to
been
know
if it was
that
Wilford
shit.
Brimley as
He
Confederate
knows,
soldier?
yeah,
That
right.
would've been awesome.
well, that
He
would have
knows-
been rad if he was Sweet Dave.
He knows, that would have been rad.
That
That
would've
would
been
have been rad. He knows you're gonna know. He knows anybody in the theater that's a stand of his is gonna have seen The Thing. He knows it. It's right on the fucking
It's
nose
too
to use the
obvious.
music and the snow and everything. It's so intentional.
Like, it's
not
on the
a
nose,
rip
but
off.
like
It's not a
nobody
rip-off.
noticed that until like
A
when people were
rip off.
filing out.
A
and I
rip
said
off is
that.
Vanilla Ice going like, no, mine goes ding 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 ding, and adding that one thing. That's a rip off, dude. Like Tarantino is acknowledging in the movie, he's acknowledging that shit. So it's not a rip off. Anyways. Also, Michael Madsen, I get what you're saying, but for me, I think the man has a couple. I think his charms are more subtle. I definitely, even though there was similarities between the Joe Gage and Bud in Kill Bill.
Oh yeah.
I still, for me, there was some subtle differences to separate them. So
Well, there's
I
always
got to
be a weakest link.
I
And this
enjoy
was Michael
Madsen.
Madsen.
Agreed.
I will. Let's see. I said that.
God, you and your horrible handwriting.
Oh, I just want to say, Bruce Dern. Like, oh my God, just giddy.
Yeah,
just Bruce
really good.
Dern. I love you. That's so awesome. Like, just so rad. So rad. And also, I just did want to mention that I thought it was really great how he does that. How you just think he's just this rotten, miserable old crank, and then like when you get like the story, because you get the story after he dies, and then it's like, oh. Like you feel bad, kind of. Even though he did kind of get what he deserved, because like, and I think it's symbolic too, because he's like this old Southern attitude from the Civil War that kind of like needs to die.
You know, it's funny, not to make another Star Wars parallel, but the way they set up the structure, it's almost like the machete cut, because the order where you watch like episode 4 and 5, and then you go back and you watch 2 and 3, and then you watch 6. Kind of the same thing here. You got like Acts 1 and 2, or Acts sort of 2, and then you go back to the beginning to find out how it sets up before you come back for the finale.
Yeah, which is great. It is Tarantino's most self-referential film. It's almost like there's callbacks to every single one of his films in there on purpose. The last thing I want to say is to the people that complain that nothing happens in this film or that it's boring or whatever. You know, I get it. I understand. And this is just not the kind of movie for you, because this is the kind of movie for people that like great performances and just quality
This is
cinema.
a movie that's going to stand the strength of time.
Yeah. The
Test of
performances,
time.
these
Test of time,
actors. This is Tarantino is an actor's director. He showcases these wonderful talents all the time, and this movie is no exception. So if you love just watching great performances, you can't lose with the fucking Hateful Eight. So go see it. All right, let's. I've got
3 words.
My 3 words. Balls are empty.
And
I thought it was going to be I sucked Tarantino.
That's not Elmer's glue by his feet, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. You know what though? If Harry Knowles was to make some kind of like jizz reference in a review, like I'd be like, "You juvenile piece of shit."
And he has.
But I'd be like, but here
all
I
his
am.
reviews.
But here I am. Oh, I have nothing else I can say except for fucking like childish cum references. So maybe I'll think of something more eloquent to say rather than some sort of, something so juvenile. Okay, so where do you guys want to start? The N-word?
That's fine by me.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
I don't give a shit.
Nigga, please.
Yeah, because it's really become the number one swear. When I was a kid, I thought the number one swear was fuck. Then as I get, is that the 45?
That's the 45, yeah.
Shit, should we go another 15 and just chop off some of the next?
Yeah,
Yes.
I guess so, and let's just not try to run too much past
Okay.
it, I think.
Okay,
So
all right,
let's
yeah.
stick
We
to-
spent too much time being
quick.
effusively positive.
You should set a timer for the individual topics we're going to talk about. If we're going to do like 3 5-minute or
I'll do 3 minutes.
3
piece.
minutes,
Okay.
and let's move.
3 minutes piece. So I'm going to say this quick, and then I'm going to toss this out there. So, then in my teens, I found out it's cunt. It's the most offensive swear word. But now it's the N-word. In fact, it's so offensive that I myself will not say it right now because I don't want to be on record.
Really?
In this. Well, we weren't recording. I don't mean to say like I'd say it all the time because I wouldn't like that. But what I mean is there is a stigma about this one particular epithet that has turned it from. It's more than just a slur. It's a swear. It's actually, I consider it like profanity, the way it's considered by society. I don't mean to say like I'm so offended by it, and this whole thing is like too sticky. I don't even know that we should be talking about this.
You know
Anyway,
what?
I just want to toss out there. Okay, so the N-word, right? It didn't bother me. It's a movie set in a historical time frame where that would have been the thing. But I certainly think it was like poking people. I think it was definitely provocative, and I think people left because of it.
I think, yeah. People
Does
did
anybody want to
leave.
opine on if that's stupid or what the deal
Well,
is?
I just want to say, because with Django, people got upset with that because of the same thing, because there's so much use of the N-word in that, and the idea being that, like, it's written by Tarantino, who's a white guy, so does he have, like, the right to do that or whatever?
Right, like it's only okay for some people to say it, which I understand why there's that
I
school of
understand,
thought.
but there's a difference. Like, if we're talking about historical context, it's like the same thing with them, getting, like, Huckleberry Finn, like, banned from schools. It's like, if you have a movie that's set in, the slave era in the South, that's going to be a word that you're going to hear. And it's like, it's not realistic if you don't do that. Same thing in this situation. When you've got Sam Jackson playing like a black ex-general from, Major, right, from the north side, and then you've got Bruce Dern playing a southern white general from, the Confederate side, and they
also
meet up.
Walton Goggins, who was the captain.
Who was a captain, right. And, there's going to be
Tension.
There's going to be tension, and this word's going to come out, and the thing is that, like, people are so overly sensitive and overly PC, and the weird thing is they don't understand they're doing a disservice to society because they're trying to whitewash this stuff and make it go away. It's like, no, like you have to deal with this and understand this happened. And on some level, like if you live in America, especially, like it's some part of being American to bear your part of the penance for the fact that this country did that to people.
And on top of that, I refuse to like. I understand why Ed's, it's a sticky situation. I don't know if we should be talking about. Fuck that. I'll say the word nigger as much as I want.
Well, no, so would George Carlin. You know what I mean? I understand.
I'm not going to give that word undue power by not saying it.
Right.
Sure.
It's
like Voldemort.
Really.
You know?
Don't you have a limit though? Like how many times before it's? But Mike, you know what I mean?
Doesn't really matter. It's like a context kind of thing. I refuse to believe that Quentin Tarantino, and this is one of the very few times I'll support him, can put nigger in a movie, but some dumb fucking rapper like 2 Chainz or one of those, shit fucking music, that should be wiped from the face of the goddamn earth, can use nigger every other word, and they're okay, and it's fine.
That actually I think is an interesting thing that does kind of complicate it, because I think rap and hip hop has sort of embraced the term since very early on in hip hop.
Well, yeah, and they were trying to take the power from it, and then you got places like the NAACP, who you can't even use the word colored. Well, motherfuckers, take it out of your name. You needed to change your goddamn name a long time ago.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is, pop culturally, the effect of having so many millions of records sold were so because white kids listen to rap.
That's right.
And so you've got kids of every color and ethnicity and nationality growing up listening to all these rap records where you're being made to feel like part of the gang.
Yeah,
and they use it quite a bit. So does it not take on a different context pop culturally?
The
for
difference between some white kid listening to rap using the word nigger in it and watching a Tarantino movie that's going to use the word nigger in it 50 times in a minute is that kid can listen to the music in his room or in his car as low or as high as he wants to. When he's in the theater, he's being seen watching this movie.
Sure, yeah, okay, all right.
And that's how they think.
I was gonna say something, but we're out of time.
No, go ahead, please.
No, overseas in Eastern Europe, where my playground is, they grew up. They did not grow up with any of this. They did not grow up with rap. Just Western culture has penetrated the Eastern Bloc within the past 10 years. So they haven't grown up with, like 1970 films or blaxploitation. They grew up with state-sponsored and state-approved entertainment. So when I was over there, we were just talking about like stuff, and they were talking about LeBron James for some reason. And someone says, "Oh, so LeBron James, he's #1 super nigger." So coming from America, I automatically like.
Of course, you're like,
you can't say that.
Yeah.
It turns out they learn about American culture and American English through American entertainment. And so the hip-hop rap culture has finally penetrated Russia and the Eastern Bloc. So they think nigger is a fine, okay.
Yeah.
They don't know
and they're
the
like,
historical context.
we understand you have lots of niggers in your town. I'm like, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Not articulated in that fashion, but
that's the thing is they don't know the term African American or black.
Right.
They only know the term nigger.
But African American almost to me seems like equally is. It seems a little preposterous. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
because what do you call a black person in England?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and I mean,
that's why I'm Blackula.
Isn't that the point of citizenship? Aren't we all born? Were you born? I mean, unless you have a passport for both.
So I thought that was just an interesting observation.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
This is okay. All right, I feel like what's not Comicus, but Brophy and his assistant in History of the World, like, get off fat jokes. Get off fat.
Swiftus.
Get off Swiftus Maximus. Yes, thank you. All right, let's talk for a minute about Tarantino's women. It's always these dudes that get the credit. You always walk out of Tarantino's films like being like, oh, this dude was really awesome, and because everybody in them is usually really awesome, and at least one dude gets a chance to really shine. But I think that really Tarantino has showcased women for most of his films in a very positive and progressive way. And had a series of fantastic, noteworthy performances by his leading ladies that tend to be overshadowed in the public eye by the performance of the guys. Now, I want to add the caveat that I don't think that's the case with the Hateful Eight, because for me, like I said, while Jennifer Jason Leigh is a very strong performance, and certainly, I'm not saying she's bad at all, but the thing is, I just feel she isn't developed as fully as many of other Tarantino's women. But Mrs. Mia Wallace in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I want to see how the apologist says how Mia Wallace is progressive.
Well, because she's just because she's not just some. Okay, well, she does end up needing his help, but not in this. She's not like a damsel in distress at all. She's very sort of assertive, and she's not. Well, no, I mean progressive in the way that like he doesn't. His women are not like this. Like the argument right now that Rey in Star Wars is, what do they call her? A Mary Sue or a Mary Jane? What is it? Mary Sue?
It's Mary Sue.
Okay,
what the hell is a Mary Sue?
Right, I didn't know either. I had to find that out. But it's a fan fiction thing,
for the audience. A Mary Sue is a fan fiction trope where a lot of people who write fan fiction, which is self-written stories about existing media, like. You'll put a character in it that basically is an avatar of yourself, who will have many amazing powers. Where like they're basically just like an unstoppable thing. Like, and this is exactly like a situation where like you would have someone writing Star Wars fan fiction, and there would be this character in it that would just happen to look like the author, but they have the best force powers, and they have like the strongest Jedi ever,
right?
And, like, all that, and like, and I thought the character of Rey was very much a Mary Sue because of her instant.
You want to talk about one-dimensional?
Force.
Well, so what? And that's what I'm saying. I don't think that.
So Jennifer Jason Leigh is a Mary Sue.
No, she's not. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying look at the women in these films. They're multidimensional. Like okay, and perhaps Mrs. Mia Wallace might not be the best example because it's a shorter story. Okay, well fuck you. Okay, Jackie Brown, Beatrix Kiddo, fucking Shoshana Dreyfus. I mean, those are not stereotypical, like, women characters that kind of, SJWs on the internet would bitch about, but they're not getting. I don't see them getting sort of the credit that they deserve.
Yeah, I don't know that Tarantino's necessarily gotten the praise that he should get.
That's what I'm saying. Women are like the hero, like all the time.
Well, like you watch something like Jackie Brown, for example, or
Okay, well, with Jackie Brown, that's an ensemble thing. Now, I agree. Jackie Brown in the movie was fucking, was Pam Grier?
Yeah, career performance,
She was amazing. But you and I direct this solely at the apologist. Tell me how Beatrix Kiddo, a.k.a. Uma Thurman, did not get the credit she deserved for that movie, and who took it more than she did in that movie.
No, Tarantino more not getting the credit for being.
Well, he's talking about
the
women
but
characters.
what I'm saying, okay. First, for starters, I think that the chopping of the film in half undermined Uma Thurman's performance. When you see the film as one epic film, you realize that she's carrying this entire film, and you see her go through this range of emotions and this whole character arc where she goes to hell and back and all this kind of stuff. And I'm trying to think back to when Kill Bill came out. Like,
well, I mean, Kill Bill.
Okay. For the kick-ass chicks, like, honestly, people talk
that whole
more.
Movie.
Well, no, people talk more about Gogo Yubari than they do about Beatrix Kiddo.
Why? Because it is not.
And I'd say Gogo Yubari is more of a fantasy character, and Beatrix Kiddo is a far more realistic depiction of a strong woman than Gogo Yubari is even close to.
Well, yes and no. But Beatrix Kiddo, Uma Thurman, it's really painful to watch her do her martial arts in that movie.
Fuck that, dude. It's really painful to watch her wake up and realize her fucking baby is gone. That's what I'm talking, dude. I don't give a fuck. She's not a martial artist. She's an actress, and that's what I'm talking about. I don't think she should be hailed for her prowess as a martial artist. But she should be hailed for carrying a fucking 4-hour film.
No, I agree. I agree.
And just like owning in the shit.
I agree. She carried the movie, but when your movie is about your character who's an assassin, you should be hailed for parts to your martial arts.
Well, she wasn't like a ninja.
No, and she wasn't a good swordsman either.
Well, I don't know that Condi's going to get what you're going for. With
I
it.
get what he's going for,
but you're not going to agree with him.
I'm not going to.
You're right.
No.
I'm just saying that
we're getting down
out
to
of
the
time.
wire.
We're getting
Next
out of
issue.
time. Yeah. So let me just say for the record that I just want to say for the record that I think that when people look back on Tarantino's films, that I think people will say like, "Holy shit, he had a series of really strong women in really awesome."
And I personally agree.
No.
Next issue. Maybe you should pick your last one. And
all right. Well, no. Let's toss that to the group. Okay. There's a couple left. Do we want to talk about the Roadshow program? Do we want to talk about this cop killer nonsense? Do we want to talk about rip-offs versus homages, or do we want to talk about whether or not the cocksucker story was true?
Let's talk about the cocksucker story.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I really think this should be our last topic. We're going to go well over an hour.
All the other ones, we do not have enough time for you and me to argue about this.
Okay, sure. Okay. Okay, well, who wants to start with that then?
All right, well, just to let the audience know, I mean, I'm sure if you've seen the movie, you're aware of this. You haven't seen the movie, you shouldn't be listening to this, but Sam Jackson's character tells a story.
We already talked about it.
Well, I guess we did, yeah. Well, anyways.
He places his gun on the table because he's in an argument with the Confederate general, played by Bruce Stern.
Well, wait a minute. If they've seen it, we don't need to explain it, do we?
No.
Okay.
I guess good. Yeah, well, I always thought.
Because we were explaining it.
All right. Well, anyway, so you know what we're talking about then. You see it.
That's what I'm saying.
Personally, I think that Sam Jackson was making the story up because of the whole thing with the Lincoln letter. I think that was a thing that shows that that's something that like he does, and he talks about disarming like white guys, and it's like, and in some ways too, that makes it almost more fucked up because it's like you dumbass, like you picked up that gun and like. That was bullshit.
You should have just
and you even had this other guy telling you, this other cracker telling you that it was bullshit, and you still picked up the gun.
Yeah.
So personally, I think that it was made up.
Okay, Condi?
Oh, no, absolutely made up. I mean, and as far as Bruce Dern picking up the gun, at a point, I just think he didn't care anymore because you know his woman's dead. He knows his son's dead already, or he is guessing his son's dead.
And he feels it's a guarantee now.
Well, I do believe that Samuel Jackson, Major Warren, killed his son.
Right. I could see that.
But just not under the same circumstances.
Not under the same circumstances. Right. And an off note, I will say that white dude was pretty well hung in the snow because I thought it would have been totally shriveled up.
Can
in the
I tell
cold,
you how
man.
proud I was to see that much penis? I'm like, dude, awesome. Because I don't think, except for maybe for a split second in Django, I don't think Tarantino's ever had a naked breast in any of his films.
No,
I don't think there's been an exposed
Yeah.
female body in his films ever, except for that one. And certainly the bit that is in Django is totally desexualized. So I think, but then what is he has in we see total schwanz.
Oh yeah, no, like
That's like
Righteous.
every director in Hollywood for some reason.
Fucking righteous.
It's always man ass.
yeah, I thought it was a great exchange of between Bruce Dern and him, especially Bruce Dern's reactions to the whole story. He's holding the blanket up to under his chin, he's almost being the little kid, like, I don't want this thing to get me in the middle of the night. I'm gonna put the blanket over my head, but I still have to hear the story, kind of thing. And then you see when he's decided to when he's gonna pick up the gun, the blanket's down,
Yeah.
and the story's still going.
Yeah.
You know what's gonna happen.
Bruce Dern is
Bruce
a
Dern.
dude. He's a master, man.
Yeah.
Zeb.
Oh, he was making it all up.
Total bullshitter. Yeah, no, I agree. You learn that Sam Jackson is kind of almost a Sherlock Holmesian character in a way, in that he sort of very passively observes and picks up on detail. And I think bullshit is a great way to get a read on people. And he knew that he was fighting for his own life, and he had to whittle the competition down. And he knew he could get that motherfucker to basically commit suicide for him.
Right.
And
a totally legal kill, and he just gets
I don't even
one
think
thing out of the way.
I don't even think that he killed his son. I bet he even didn't do that. I bet
I
it was
wouldn't
just
be
all because he
surprised.
knew that was a way to just be like, okay, well, that takes him out of the picture. Now get down to business. Anyways,
I just like the look on Bruce Dern's face of being conflicted. Like, if I don't say anything, I could leave here
right.
alive. But if I don't say anything, if I don't do anything,
Yeah. He's torn. He's torn. He doesn't know what to do. All right. Well, listen, we've got to talk about another film, so let's get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yes, we got other things to do, other things to podcast about, so
there's
we'll have to
other
wrap it
people
up.
here at the
Yeah, other people in the Cinemarijuana Theatre are waiting to get to the action, so I guess that will end our review
Longer
of
than
the-
we wanted to.
Right, the road show of the
Shit, not
70
long
millimeter
enough.
I know.
screening of The Hateful Eight.
Yes.
Yeah, because there are lots of scenes we could have talked
Oh,
about.
God, we
you
go
know.
about it forever.
So, yeah,
maybe
so
we'll
anyways-
start doing we're talking about starting to do commentary podcasts. So maybe one of these days.
Oh,
we'll do this.
side note, Zoe Bell, definitely in my bone zone.
Oh, and she was amazing. God, she was just like a little ray of sunshine in this
Oh, my
movie,
God,
too.
I know,
I
I
felt
know.
so bad when she
Actually,
got killed.
what's the name of the actress that played Minnie? Because she was in Django.
Yeah, she was the maid in Django.
Yeah. What's her name?
Hang on one second. I'm pulling that
Octavia
up.
Spencer.
No, that's not it. I read it. I remembered. I forgot. I read it on the credits. I'm like, I can't remember her name.
And then they had the cat for one scene. I
Yeah.
love that.
I wonder what happened to the cat because it just up and disappeared.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where's that? Where's that?
And
cat
then they
gonna
make the
go?
cat
Didn't they have
reference to
a
Bruce
cat
Dern.
in the thing too?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, there was.
No, that was Alien. There was dogs.
Oh, there was a dog in the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. What's her name?
It is
And poor sweet
Dana
Dave.
Gurrier.
She's fucking hot as fuck to
Yeah,
me.
the one who's
Thick
Minnie,
and
right?
juicy.
Yeah. No, dude.
No, no,
even
I-
Django too. I was
Gurrier.
like, God damn, dude, that woman is hot. So, anyways, all right. Well, on that misogynist note, let's get out of here.
All right, so like us on Facebook, follow us on SoundCloud. Just click it up in the corner right there to follow us. Visit our Facebook page and our YouTube.
YouTube at Toothless Richard Productions.
Yes, and what's
And,
the Facebook?
Las Películas Sábados Gigantes.
And there's a Tumblr as well, but
Yeah,
We
there's
got
a,
more
there's a,
stuff
there's a
coming.
website coming. And
Yeah, a
Twitter
website
all
and a
that
Twitter
stuff
and a Tumblr coming. But
And-
yeah, just check us out. Like us on SoundCloud. We'll be all over the place soon.
Oh yeah, there'll be more stuff coming.
There's a lot coming here in
some-
2016.
Some comic reviews, some anime
Yeah,
reviews.
we're
toy
a
reviews.
podcast on the grow.
Oh God!
all right. So
Please,
for,
even after that, please listen.
yes. So for Las Películas Sábados Gigantes at the Cinemarijuana Theatre, I'm Ed,
I'm John.
I'm Condi.
I'm Matt.
and we'll be back shortly to discuss our next film. Thanks for tuning in.